Hello friends, welcome back. In this video, we'll be discussing some more para summary questions that are generally asked for CAT and other management entrance examinations. We have already discussed a lot of questions on para summaries in the previous videos. So you might be familiar with the techniques that you should be using in all kind of para summary questions. First, understand the passage by reading very carefully. Then review or form a summary of the passage in your mind, including the main points. Then go through the options, eliminate the wrong options or the options that are not agreeing with the passage. Those options you eliminate. So you might be left with some 2 or 3 options which are not incorrect or which are correct. Or if you are lucky, you might be getting only one answer because all the other options will be incorrect. But if you are not that lucky, then there might be 2 or 3 probable answers. Then you have to select the best answer out of these 2 or 3 probable answers. And always the technique that you should be used to select the best answer out of the probable answers is that option which talks specifically about the main points in the passage will be your best option. So any option that gives you specific information regarding the main points or the essence of the passage should be the best answer. So other options which might be talking about the supplementary points, that may not be the best choice for para summary answers. So this is the technique, and as usual, I'm giving the normal or the regular advice. Please attempt the exercise on your own first. The link to the exercise is given in the video description. So click on the link, attempt that exercise, and then come back and watch the video, because that will help you to understand the concepts better, clearer, the techniques more vividly. You will be able to analyze or internalize the techniques. So coming back to the questions, the first passage is talking about what it is talking about how civil services exams have impacted the opinion or outlook regarding the value of education among the families. And what is the passage saying? It says that there is a theory or an untested theory. What is hypothesis? Hypothesis means a theory that is not tested or proven. That is hypothesis. Thesis means a theory that is tested as well as proven. Hypothesis means a theory that is only in theory. It has not been tested and proven very clearly. So that is called a hypothesis. So there is a hypothesis that civil services exam has what is the effect of impact of civil service exam. It has changed the opinion about the value of education among the educated and the elite families, or it has inculcated a culture or inculcated a sense of valuing education. So education has been given a lot of importance by the educated and elite families as a result of the impact of civil services exam. This is the theory, and they have transmitted this value culture of valuing education from one generation to another. This is the theory, and in order to test the theory. What is the to do so means to test the theory, because we are first testing the hypothesis. So to do so means to test the theory. What they have done a nationally representative social survey in which questions were asked to respondents or people who participated in the survey regarding how or whether they had any ancestors who had accomplished or achieved something in the civil services exam. So it might be a very important exam of national relevance, and in that exam whether they had any parents or grandparents or anybody who had achieved any accomplishments or achievements in the civil services exam. That is called ancestral achievements, and how that has affected the attitude of the respondents towards the importance of learning. So the as a determinant of social status. So this is the purpose of the survey. The purpose of the survey is to find out whether the ancestral achievements or the achievements of their grandparents or parents or forefathers in the civil service exam, whether it has impacted or given them the families the importance regarding the education and how it determines the social status. And the survey was conducted, and after controlling the genetic and cultural transmission of family human capital, means after accepting or acknowledging that there are many other factors that affect your outlook regarding education, like IQ tests, years of education, income, etc. So all these things are also controlled and they have been accepted. Then they found that the ancestral civil services density means the accomplishment of any of their ancestors either on the mother's side or on the father's side. Patrilineal or matrilineal means either on the mother's side or on the father's side. If a particular family is taken, if they had any person or persons either on the mother's side or the father's side who had done certain accomplishments in the civil services, and such families have a very good positive impact on the offspring's attitude towards the importance of education. So those families, the children will have a very important attitude or a valuable attitude towards importance of education. And these respondents want the government to spend more on education, and the respondents who were parents. So among the respondents, some were parents also. So those respondents who participated in the survey who were parents who gave more attention to their children's education because they expected the children to receive more education and devoted more time to supervising their children's homework, etc., by watching less TV themselves. And because of this strong parental ethic, their children also performed well in their education. So this is the meaning. So all these things are pointing out to the hypothesis regarding the transmission of a culture valuing education within families. So all these things that came out of the survey have actually augmented or supported the hypothesis that civil services exam is giving the people a sense of importance about the value of education. So this is the meaning, and it is transmitted from one family to another family or from generations. This is the meaning. Now you have to go to the options. First option. So before that, recollect the passage. What is the summary? For the main idea, the summary is regarding whether civil services exam or the ancestral accomplishments or the accomplishments of your forefathers in the civil services exam, whether it has had a impact on the attitude regarding education. And the survey or the passage says that yes, the accomplishments of ancestors in civil services exam make the families realize the importance of education, as a result of which they give more importance to education, not just to themselves, but to their children as well. So once you understand that, the answers become very easy. Option A, children in India whose parents are educated and hail from elite backgrounds perform better and have a high success ratio. So here, first problem is in India. The passage is nowhere saying that this we are talking about India, because there is no mention about India. So when you make this India, a civil service exam is an exam conducted in India also, but this exam was actually designed by the British people to recruit or to select eligible candidates who can assist them in administering the countries which were colonized by the British. So this was a British system, and they implemented the system in all the British colonies. So you cannot say that we are talking about India, as the passage does not mention about India anywhere. So that is the first problem. And they are educated and hailing from elite backgrounds perform better. That is true, and have a high success ratio in exams. So here we are talking about only the performance, whether they are succeeding in exams and all, not talked about in the last part of the passage. The passage is talking about children whose parents are educated and hail from good backgrounds. They understand the importance of education because of the influence of civil services exam, and they force their children or they motivate their children to perform better. But this is having success ratio in exams and not stated in the passage. So two problems, as a result of which option A will not be a good answer. Option B, families with ancestral accomplishments in the civil service exam perceive education as a significant factor to achieve social status and transmit this idea to their offspring. Good answer, because it says that for families who have some ancestors who had done some achievements in the civil service exam, they perceive or realize that education is important to achieve social status and transmit this idea to their offspring. Good answer, keep it in your mind. Option C, families with strong parental ethics take better care of the studies of their children from early stages and push their children to study and perform better. Again, a good answer. It is also conforming to the last statement of the passage. So good answer. Option D, the civil service exam requires families to be very disciplined towards the studies of their children, and this forces children to perform better. So it says that in order to write the civil services exam, families become very disciplined towards the studies of their children. So the passage is not saying anything about civil service exam requiring families to be very disciplined. No, it says that because of the influence of civil service exam, which was in which some of their ancestors qualified, because of that influence, families realize the importance of education and ask their motivate their children to perform better. And they are forcing the children to perform better also is wrong. So the two problems are there. One is civil service exam requiring families to be very disciplined. We are not talking about whether civil service exam is it is a must for civil service exam for families to be disciplined. Because we are not talking about families forcing their children to write civil service exam. We are only saying that families motivate their children to perform well in their studies because they understand the importance of studies. That's all. So that is why this is wrong. Now you have two good answers, B and C. So very clearly the technique we have discussed in the beginning, when you have two good answers, the option that talks about the main point specifically will be your best answer. So very clearly, option B is that option because it talks about the main point in the passage. Families having ancestral accomplishments, realizing the importance of education, and then transmitting to their idea about to their offspring. Option C is only talking about parents with a strong parental ethics taking better care of the studies of their children. So how these parental ethics is coming about? It is because of the accomplishments of their ancestors. So that part is not stated here. So this is a supplementary idea. The main idea is given in option B. So option B should be your answer. All right. Go to question number 2. Question number 2 again is talking about whether government agencies should directly implement certain decisions or whether they should outsource the decisions to private agencies. So this is the main discussion or debate in the paragraph, whether government agencies or governing agent means government agencies, whether they should be directly doing or directly taking decisions on important things or whether they should be outsourcing these to private institutions or private agencies. And in this debate, the three main factors are: one is legitimacy, second one is justice, third one is efficiency. So three main concepts are discussed: legitimacy, justice, and efficiency. And in the passage says that when you are talking about the legitimacy of a government agency or a governing agency, what you are essentially talking about is their authority, the right to make and impose certain decisions, and their eligibility, standing to make those decisions. So when you talk about the legitimacy of a governing agent, means legitimacy was for agent or a body that is making decisions. You are talking about the authority of that body to take a particular decision and the eligibility or the qualification of that body to take a decision, because these decisions are changing the normative situation of the people who are going to be affected by the decision. Normative situation means what is the existing norm, the rights and duties. So it is already given. Even if you don't understand what is the normative situation, means the rights and duties of the people who are affected by the decision. So this is why legitimacy is important, because legitimacy is talking about the authority as well as the eligibility of the people who make decisions, because the decisions are affecting a lot of people. So since it is affecting the rights and duties of a lot of people, the governing agent should have the authority as well as the eligibility to take such decisions. And then the passage says that legitimacy is different from other values like justice and efficiency, because justice is talking about fairness. So there are three main concepts I told you. One is legitimacy. Second one is justice. Justice means the decision should be made fair. It should not be unjust to any person involved. So they should be fair. And efficiency means they have to be cost effective, or whatever is the benefit and what is the cost. So this need to be taken into account. So any decision that is effective means the benefit should outweigh the cost, or the benefit should be more than the cost. So these are the things that have to be taken into consideration. So the legitimacy is different from justice and efficiency. And substantive content means important content. Substantive means important. So when the substantive content has certain norms, whether they are fair or whether they are efficient. So here we are talking about the two other concepts, justice and efficiency, that governing agents need. And justice is talking about fairness, efficiency is talking about cost benefit analysis. So, and the passage says that legitimacy is not the only value that matters. Legitimacy is definitely important because it is talking about the authority as well as the eligibility of the people taking the decisions. But justice and efficiency are also important. So legitimacy is not the only value that matters. In cases where the deceptive significant lot of benefits can be got by way of justice and efficiency, then legitimacy need not be taken into consideration. These gains may well override considerations of legitimacy. Means in areas where decisions will lead to lot of benefits in terms of either justice or efficiency. In such cases, legitimacy or the authority or the eligibility of the person taking the decision need not be taken into account, or it should not be a big concern. But legitimacy should have a certain priority. So the passage says that justice and efficiency are important factors in decision making. Legitimacy is also a very important factor, but legitimacy is not the only important factor. Whenever there are a lot of benefits to be gained using the other factors, then legitimacy need not be an important factor. But legitimacy should be having priority in situations when the gains from other factors are not very much. Means in the presence limit, so we may have sufficient reasons to limit outsourcing. So when you're talking about justice and efficiency, if outsourcing or outsourced decision makers can achieve the objectives of justice and efficiency in a very good manner, then in such cases outsourcing can be done. But in other cases, the priority should be given to legitimacy, and there should be sufficient reasons to limit outsourcing, even though some other gains are there, but which can be achieved through outsourcing. Means whenever a lot of benefits can be derived through outsourcing, then in the form of justice and efficiency, then legitimacy need not be a consideration. So outsourcing can be done. But when the benefits are not that much, then outsourcing should not be done, because legitimacy is a priority in certain cases, or the decision-making authority should have the authority as well as the qualification to make the decisions. This is the essence of the passage. Now coming to the options. Since the legitimacy of a governing agent is more important than justice or efficiency, outsourcing of certain responsibilities will lead to significant gains. So here there are two problems. One is legitimacy of a governing agent is more important. The passage itself says that legitimacy is not the only value that matters. The passage itself says that. So means other values are equally important. So whereas this option says that legitimacy is more important than justice or efficiency, wrong. And outsourcing of certain responsibilities will lead to significant gains. So if legitimacy is more important than what the passage is saying, legitimacy is whenever legitimacy is prioritized, outsourcing should not be done. That is what the passage says. The last sentence is that whenever more priority is given to legitimacy, then outsourcing should not be done. You should limit outsourcing. So here where the passage is, the sentence is contradicting itself. The sentence is saying that legitimacy, whenever legitimacy is more important, outsourcing will lead to a lot of significant gains. Again, wrong. So this is again a contradiction. So because of two reasons, this is wrong. Then go to option B. Since the focus of legitimacy is to ensure the same goals as that of justice and efficiency. Again, wrong. So if you have read the passage, you need not even read the options fully. Just by reading the passage to this or option to this level, you can eliminate this option, because the option says that legitimacy is having the same objectives as justice and efficiency. You know that legitimacy is about the authority as well as the eligibility of the decision maker, whereas justice is talking about fairness and efficiency is talking about cost benefit analysis. So all these three are having different goals. The passage itself, the option says that they are having the same goals. So this is wrong. Outsourcing or responsibility lead to distributive justice are advisable. So this is again wrong. Outsourcing or responsibilities leading to distributive justice advisable, correct. But the first part is wrong. So that is why this option is a wrong option. Option C, the rights and duties of people subject to government decisions need to be prioritized more than the implementation of distributive justice in certain cases. So what is the meaning of this sentence? It says that the rights and duties of people subject to government decisions need to be prioritized. Who is taking care of the rights and duties of the people? Legitimate decision-making authorities. So here legitimate decision-making authorities should give priority to the rights and duties. That is the first part. Rights and duties of people subject to government decisions need to be prioritized. The passage is saying the passage says that when legitimate people are taking the decision, this will automatically be prioritized. So that part is okay, but more than the implementation of distributive justice in certain cases. Is this correct? Need to be prioritized more than the implementation of justice. What the passage is saying, whenever a lot of gains in distributive justice is available, then that should be given more priority. So the option is only saying that in certain cases. In what case it does not say. So whenever the benefits of distributive justice is very much significant, then justice should be given more priority. Whenever it is not that significant, then only legitimacy should be given priority. So the cases, which are the cases it is not specifically mentioning. So this is not a very good answer, but keep it in your mind. In the absence of any other good answers, maybe we can go for this. Option D, in decisions that involve normative changes for stakeholders. What is normative changes? The rights and duties. So any decision that changes the rights and duties of the stakeholders means the people who are affected by the decision. The government agent is probably the best person to take decisions in spite of some advantage that could be achieved through outsourcing. Good answer, because the passage is that whenever there are any changes in the rights and duties of the people that are affected by the decision, the legitimacy should be a very important concern. So means the government agent should be the better person, because legitimacy means authority, the proper authority and the proper eligibility. So government agents will have the proper authority rather than outsourced agents. So in such cases, government agent is probably the best person to take the decision in spite of some advantages that could be achieved through outsourcing. Yes, last part says that even in the presence of some other gains. So even though some other gains are there, the government agent would probably the best person, because we are talking about the decisions where normative changes are happening. So legitimacy is important. So this is a better answer than option D, because here it is unclear. Option C is unclear about in which cases you should give more importance to legitimacy, and in which other cases you should give more importance to distributive justice. So that is why C is not the better answer. D is the better answer. This is a tough question, but if you have understood the passage well, you will be able to easily solve the summary. Now go to the third one. So this paragraph is basically talking about the public goods. What are public goods? Those public services which are catering to the healthcare, education, etc. That is already stated in the passage. So you don't have to worry about which are the public goods. So there is a lot of battle over public goods, or there is a lot of dispute or debate over the healthcare, education, and other goods, where there are two different views. What are the two different views? One view is that it should be measured in terms of efficiency and production. Means public services should be measured in terms of economic efficiency, means where the amount you spend on public services, whether they are able to recover the cost from the people. That is economic efficiency. So that is a one view, that public services should be having this economic efficiency. But what is the other view? It should be based on moral and political concepts. And and what is a political concept? The concept of democracy. So what is in this framework? So when you think of public goods in terms of moral and political concepts, public goods become something that enables the success and well-being of human beings. And this democratic concept of public goods is based on the substantive and aspirational sense. Substantive means important, and aspirational sense of democracy means these are goods that we owe to one another in a shared democratic society. Means in a democratic society, public goods should be shared between the people, and there should be equal access to these goods. And ensuring equal access is a public concern and public obligation. Means the second view, the passage is giving more importance to the second view, where it says that public goods or public services should be measured not in terms of economic efficiency, but in terms of morality and the principles of democracy. And the principles of democracy says that any public good should ensure the success and well-being of human beings. It should be shared between the people, and all people should have equal access to the services provided by such public goods. So the examples are healthcare, education, etc. Basically, the passage is saying that whether healthcare, education, etc. should be done by the government for the sake of getting income or for the sake of giving service to the people. This is the main underlying thing, and the passage says that it should not be measured in terms of its economic cost benefit analysis, but it should be measured in terms of the principles of morality and democratic well-being of the people by ensuring equal access to all the people to the public services. This is the meaning. Now, once you understand the meaning, the answers become very clear. A public good must not be defined exclusively in terms of economic efficiency. Correct. The passage says that public should not be defined only in terms of economic efficiency. Option B, a democratic concept of public goods enshrines its ability to lead to the well-being of humanity. Again, correct, because the passage itself says that whenever there is a democratic concept of public good, it enshrines means give more importance or focuses on its ability to lead to the well-being of humanity. It's again correct statement. Option C, public goods should be judged by the benchmarks of morality and accessibility rather than economic efficiency. Again, a good answer. So it says that the benchmark or the criteria to measure the relevance of public goods is not economic efficiency, but morality and accessibility. So again, true. Option 4D, in a democratic society, equal access to public goods need to be ensured to make them economically efficient. So what is the problem here? Is there any problem? In a democratic society, correct. Equal access to public goods need to be ensured. That also is correct. To make them economically efficient is wrong. So the passage is that in a democratic society, it is not the economic efficiency of the public goods that needs to be considered. It is the accessibility as well as the moral principles on which this should be run. So the public equal accessibility to be of public goods is to be ensured for the success and well-being of the people, not for making it economically efficient. So that is why this part is wrong, as a result of which this option itself is wrong. Now you have three good options, A, B, and C, out of which is the best option. Again, the same principle we have discussed in the beginning. Any option that talks about the essence of the passage specifically should be the answer. So if you apply that, which will be the answer? See, both A and B are talking about the supplementary information, the definition of public good, not in based on economic efficiency, based on well-being of the humanity. So, whereas option C is a better answer, it says that this is the benchmark that should be used, morality and accessibility, not economic efficiency. So, this is the best option that encapsulates whatever is talked about in the passage. The first option is not talking about the actual benchmark that should be used. It says that which is the benchmark which should not be used. Option B is saying that which is the benchmark to be used. It is not talking about the benchmark not to be used. Whereas option C is talking about the benchmarks that are to be used and the benchmark that is not to be used. That is why option C is the best answer, because it encapsulates the entire idea in the passage. So this is these kind of questions are going to be confusing for you. So you need to understand and focus on the main idea as well as the supplementary ideas. Once you understand this, the answers become very clear. Now go to the question number 4. So question number 4 is basically talking about the National Retail Federation's survey findings. What it says that American consumers are going to spend a mammoth amount of $8.4 billion this fall. Fall means the season that is autumn season that comes just before winter is known as fall. The September, October, and November months are considered to be fall in the Western countries, and Halloween is a very important festival in that season. So Halloween is a festival for the dead, where the people honor the or respect and honor and give tributes to the people who have passed away. And it is also a celebration of horror. So a lot of ghost stories, ghost movies are there regarding Halloween, and Halloween theme parties regarding ghosts. All those things are conducted. So this is a very important festival, and people spend a lot of money. So the passage is saying that the survey is predicting that American consumers are going to spend $8.4 billion in this Halloween, because Halloween generally falls in the last week of October. So during the fall season. And it is a record high in the organization's 11 years. So this is a record as far as the organization is concerned, because they have been conducting surveys for the last 11 years. And 171 million Americans are going to participate, and the typical adult will spend an average of $82.93, around $100 one person will be spending, which is an increase from 74.34 last year. So last year the spending was $74.34, and it is the second celebration in terms of commercial spending. So this is the second biggest commercial holiday. So as soon as the kids are back to school, means normally in August the schools are opening in USA. So once the schools reopen and all the departmental stores clear the shelves from school notebooks, pencils, all those school related items are cleared from the shelves once the schools open, and then they decorate the showroom shelves with the customer candy, costumes, decorations, etc. And the strip mall. What is a strip mall? A row of shops which are situated in a rectangular form with a footpath in between. That is called a strip mall, where items are sold cheaply. So that kind of everywhere, these temporary Halloween retailers are come to start their business, and restaurants have food and beverage items. Theme parks have so many Fright Nights. All these things are discussed here. So once you understand the passage, the options become very, very simple. The summary is millennials are embracing Halloween in America. Who is a millennial? Any person who has been born after 2000, after the year 2000 is called a millennial. So if the passage, the option is saying that millennials are embracing Halloween in America. So we are not just talking about millennials. The passage nowhere mentions that only the youngsters are celebrating Halloween. All the people are celebrating Halloween. So that is why this option is not correct. Option B, as per an hour, Halloween is America's second biggest commercial holiday. True statement. And I was saying that after Christmas, Halloween is America's second biggest commercial holiday. Option C, Halloween is big business in America. So which is a better answer? See, this is a supplementary idea. This is a main idea, because it is all along the passage. The passage is focusing on the consumption that is going to happen in America, the spending that is going to happen in America throughout the Halloween season. So Halloween is a big business. That is why all these vacant malls, strip malls, restaurants, theme parks, everywhere they are gearing up for the Halloween festival, because people are spending a lot of money. So this is a good answer. Keep it in your mind. Option D, Halloween is celebrated by people of all ages in America. Again, a good statement, which is the better answer. The same concept we have discussed, something that is talking about the essence of the passage, option C. So option B is a supplementary idea. Option D is also a supplementary idea. So as a result of which, the main idea is Halloween being a very big commercial festival where a lot of spending is going to happen, a lot of consumption will happen. So that is why the passage is focusing on the consumption trends of Halloween over the years. So option C is the clear answer. So the passage might seem difficult to because a lot of data is there, but once you understand the passage, the option becomes very, very easy and simple. All right. Go to the last question, or the fifth question. So here it is talking about, so this passage it is written towards the fag end of 2021, where we were almost at the end of the COVID pandemic, where vaccines have been invented and people started getting vaccines, and COVID threat started to reduce. And the passage is talking about that period. Vaccines are rolling out, and we might permit ourselves vision of normality, as the battle against the COVID-19 pandemic is at last swings in our favor. So the battle is gradually swinging in our favor, means it is going in our side. So in the beginning, the COVID pandemic was against us because there was no vaccine. Now vaccines have been rolled out, so as a result of which the pandemic is going to be defeated. This is the meaning. So while we were soon prevail a campaign, we cannot ignore an increasing problem. What is the problem? Because of this COVID fight, there is another problem has worsened in situation. What is that problem? Plastics. Plastics have been deployed in great quantities as a shield against COVID. As a result of which, what is happening? A lot of plastic waste is going to be generated, and there is no proper attention on how this plastic waste is going to be recycled or disposed of. So that is the increasing problem. Sad irony is that we were on the cusp of real victories, means we were on the verge of real victories against plastic pollution just as the COVID pandemic began. So the irony is that we were beginning to defeat the plastic problem. So suddenly this COVID happened, and plastic menace has again become a worse problem. That is the sad irony. Now, once you understand the passage, which is the correct option? Option A, while we have won over the COVID pandemic, the plastic menace that the fight against COVID has fostered continues to prevail. So the COVID pandemic has fostered means increased or supported the menace of the plastic, correct? And it is continuing to prevail. It is continuing to be there. So this big problem becomes a real problem. So is this a good statement? See, read it carefully. While we have won over the COVID pandemic, the passage says that the battle against is at last swinging in our favor, means the battle is gradually moving in our favor, and we may soon prevail against COVID-19, means we may likely defeat COVID-19 very soon. Whereas this option says that we have won over the COVID pandemic, means we have already defeated the COVID pandemic. Wrong. So that is why this is incorrect. Option B, plastic pollution has increased during the COVID pandemic, and this is an issue that needs our attention. Good statement. No issues in that. Keep it in your mind. Option C, it is ironic that single-use plastic, which helped us claiming victory over the pandemic, has accentuated the problem of plastic pollution. So it says that the irony is that plastic has helped us in defeating the pandemic, but it has increased the problem of plastic pollution. So is there any issue here? One issue is single-use plastic. The passage is only talking about plastic. Whether it is a single-use plastic or multi-use plastic, we don't know. That is not stated in the passage. Second problem, and a bigger problem, is this irony. What is the irony as per the passage? The irony as per the passage is that we were on the verge of defeating the plastic problem. Suddenly this pandemic happened, and then plastic problem became a big problem again. That is irony. Whereas the option says that the irony is that the plastic which helped us in claiming victory over the pandemic is increasing the problem of plastic pollution. That is definitely ironic, but that's not the irony that the passage is saying. The passage talks about the irony regarding how we were on the verge of defeating plastic problem, but suddenly it became a big problem because of the COVID pandemic. So whereas the option is talking about another irony which is not stated in the passage, that is why this becomes an incorrect statement, even though it looks a good statement. Option D, our impending victory over the COVID pandemic is at the expense of aggravating the grave issue of plastic menace. What is impending victory? The victory that is going to happen soon, that is impending. Something that is likely to happen in the near future is called impending. So our means victory is not yet there, but our impending victory over the COVID pandemic is at the expense of aggravating the issue. Means this victory is has resulted as we have attained this victory at the expense of, means we have had this problem, means aggravating, means making more serious the grave issue of plastic menace. Aggravating means increasing the seriousness. So already that it was a serious issue, that seriousness has increased because of the COVID pandemic. Why? Because the plastic was used widely in the fight against COVID. So this is a good answer. So we have B and D as good answers, which is the better answer. The B is not talking about plastic pollution increasing because of the COVID pandemic. It only says that plastic pollution increased during the COVID pandemic, whereas the passage says that the increase in the pollution was because of the COVID pandemic. So that important aspect is not stated here. So that is why this need not be a good answer, whereas option D is saying that this COVID pandemic is victory in the COVID pandemic is at the expense of aggravating the grave issue, means it is because of the fight against COVID pandemic, this become a serious issue. So this is a very clear and correct answer. So option D should be your answer, not option B. I hope this is clear. So thank you. We have discussed a lot of important concepts, and these questions are meant to reinforce the concepts in your mind so that you don't get yourself confused when you tackle these kind of issues in the actual exam. You need to practice and practice to internalize these techniques so that you become very clear on how to approach the para summary questions. I hope this exercise has given you some insights on how to do that. If you have found the video to be useful, please like, share, and subscribe so that it will motivate me to come out with further videos. Thank you. Bye-bye.